Hello everyone and welcome back to another album review, and in this video I'm going to review Arthurian Catacombs by Sacred Sun. Sacred Sun is the black metal one-man band project from Dane Cross. Fitting name. The release of the self-titled debut exactly 2 years ago made it an album that was instantly a huge meme in the black metal community. And I think you can definitely see why. This man just took a simple picture of himself into a beautiful landscape, just put a black metal logo and he called it a day. And that is beautiful, that is magnificent. It's funny that elitists of the black metal community got triggered because this apparently is not true cult. Where's the black font? Where's the corpse paint? Where are the frozen forests and the frozen mountains? You are not true cult. And due to this extremely ridiculous album cover, the album managed to get some attention. And despite what you get as an album cover, the album itself is not a novelty or a parody of black metal. Instead, what you get is actually a pretty decent black metal album. I think the self-titled Sacred Sun has definitely some nice elements to it, and the more aggressive and heavy moments are actually really good with some really nice and tight riffs. The second album over here, which is released exactly 2 years after the release of the self-titled one, shows Dane Cross not making the album just by himself, but also adding some other members and having more musicians. Dane Cross is on vocals, bass and synths, and then you have 2 other members on guitars and another member on drums. And what you get with Arthurian Catacombs definitely sounds more focused, and there is a bit of a better connection with all the sounds coming together. The heavy black metal parts on this album come up really good, something that I digged with the sound of the first album, and in my opinion at some of this occasion it's done a bit better. There is more attention and more detail to those particular elements of the sound, and there are some great riffs. For example, I really like the track The Blind and Feral Whiteness, and then there is also the very great A Grave Countenance, and there are some really nice parts on the 11-minute track Arachnidan Upperdates. And in my opinion we get some really decent and really well crafted black metal songs in some of these occasions. Unfortunately, just like with the self-titled debut, in my opinion the album suffers a lot when it comes to the more atmospheric and ambient parts. When it came to the first album, I pretty much digged the entire thing, with the exception of the third track, the interlude Ethereal Light, which had these electroacoustic guitars that sounded so bland and so lifeless. And what he presented with this track was not just a very basic and a very typical approach on atmospheric black metal. In my opinion, it was just way too weak. I didn't care for this track at all. In my opinion, some of these really weak parts also appear with Arthurian Catacombs on the 3-part Ossuary I, II and III, which come at the beginning, the middle point and the ending portion of the album. 3 of the shorter tracks on the album going into a more dark ambient atmosphere, but what I hear is mostly just really unimaginative and bland background sounds that don't really lead up to anything special in particular. I would possibly say that Ossuary III has some okay melodic additions to it, and Ossuary II just adds some drums here and there, but these 3 tracks, this 3-part is just really bland, really uninteresting in my opinion. But also some of the black metal tracks suffer from this occasion at their middle portions, like with the song Black and Lustrous Spheres and with Arachnida Up and Dance, which have those really long-winded passages that just come off as really boring and mostly unnecessary. In my opinion, they could have done something much more into these particular sounds, What we get is another decent black metal album from Sacred Sun. The focus on the black metal parts is really apparent. Production wise, the album is not something all that special in my opinion, but I like what I get and the performances are really solid on this one. If it had a bit of a more focus to some of the other parts, creating a better atmosphere to it rather than just sounding so lifeless and unapproachable, we could have had a better and more fulfilling experience. But for what it is, Arthurian Catacombs is another okay black metal album. I'm going to give this album a 6 out of 10. What's your opinion on this album? Like it, dislike it, why, and what do you want me to review next time? Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.